Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII. I'm the Mysterious JG, and I'm going to make you guys come along for the ride, but I believe it's time to get on out of here. I couldn't find a page that told me what enemies appear here, so we're going to keep running into Marbros while trying to find other enemies, and they just take a while to beat, so I don't want to spend a ton of time on screen trying to figure that out. I forgot to scan one when I had the chance, but believe me, we will be encountering Marbros, unless I spend the rest of the game running through all of the areas with no encounters on, which I usually don't do when I'm in a new area. We will encounter more Marbros. But I didn't really feel the need to fight any more of them. It turns out the guide that I read didn't say specifically that bad breath does or does not inflict stop. But it had a specific layout for what to defend against that was very similar to what I'm doing, but not exactly the same. And they recommended defending against sleep rather than break. Wait a minute. I think that's through. What are they? Yeah, I think they did tell me to put stop on, but they want you to defend against pain. And I think they suggested you go ahead and keep break as something you're vulnerable to, because of the notion that break is really, it's like a slow acting petrify. So you can, the way it works in Final Fantasy VIII, I guess you don't instantly turn to stone. You have like several turns. So in fact, if we were going to fight Marbros again, I would be better off defending against pain, because that will just nullify a couple status elements. Just the wrong way. For this next video, I mean, if we get back to the story, the next thing to do in the story, I believe, was look for the White Seed ship. I think we already had the dialogue that told us that we needed to do that. That's the forest they wanted me to go from. Slightly closer than the one that we ended up picking. Getting pretty close now, right? I really don't know how to control the camera effectively in this game, or that you can't. Like, I don't know that it's, you know, I'm not ashamed to admit that I don't have perfect godlike skill in some of the games that I play, but I think in this game there's just no freaking way to get the camera to do what you want it to do. I don't think it's down to me sucking. But yeah, the as it turns out, that forest with those chocobos is the earliest way in game to encounter Marbros. So, huzzah! Like, I was kind of surprised because I didn't remember ever encountering Marbros before getting past the next plot point. But no, you can encounter them there, and that is, the game told me officially, or the guide told me, that's the earliest way to get to them. So the next thing to do is we have the Sorceress's Letter as an item in our inventory, I believe. But we gotta come here before we can look. Thanks, game. Thanks for running out of juice already. Then again, the Sorceress Letters, these plot items don't always really show here where you can see what the hell they are. So I guess, other than remembering whether or not we did that in a prior video, I have no other way of knowing. Yeah, but Renoa's out of action for the time being. It's a shame. I like Renoa. Renoa's not a bad character. She's a little silly. I mean, I think she would be more irritating if she wasn't paired up with Squall, who's such a fucking wet blanket that it's like, even though I've noted that if you try to make him act like a decent human being when given dialogue choices, everyone's consistently surprised to the point where you're like, alright, well, if you don't want me to make him act like a decent human being, I'll stop. Jeez, game. But, I mean, when the dialogue is just his own dialogue that you don't have control over, he comes across as somebody who needs a Renoa to be, you know, deflating him a little bit. Not like crushing his ego utterly or degrading him, just kind of letting a little bit of the air out, you know. So, if this is the point in the plot that we're at, somewhere in this, like, somewhere amongst the fjords here, we will find the White Seed ship, and that's like the plot thing that's supposed to be going on. But now I'm like, do I need to go back and have even more conversations with Sorceress Idea to unlock that? Because I don't really remember. And it would be kind of annoying to spend too much time searching, because that's what the challenge is at this point in the game. It's like carefully, patiently searching. Oh, we're at the totally wrong place anyway. Never mind. I was misreading the map. I am now, and this map. Oh, never mind. We're not. That's it. Okay. It was like right here. Well, I mean, I needed, like, I'm sure I found them back in the day without a map. But yeah, if you're trying to hide from the G Army, like, that's not a bad place to be hiding, I suppose. Although, it is awfully close to Idea's house, considering that they know how to get there. We meet again. My name is Squall. We're seeds from Balam Garden. I'd like to speak to your leader. Take me to your leader, Kron. I'm in charge. State your business. State your name, bitch. Depending on what you say, we may ask you to leave immediately. Can we ask you to put on some less dorky clothes? I want to see Alone. I can't believe that's why you would be here. Why would you seek out the ship where Alone is hiding if you wanted to see Alone? We pose no threat. Idea told us that you would be here. Idea? How? Idea is no longer under Sorceress Ultimacio's control. She is now our ally. As a matter of fact, she's going to be a party member later, but JG let that slip in the last video. He didn't mean to. So there's no reason for you to hide Alone's whereabouts from us. We want to take Alone back to protect her from Ultimacia. We're already doing that. Better than you could ever do it. Nobody can defeat the White Seeds. We're the biggest badasses. Thank you for coming, but we have no reason to believe you. Please leave. But we're not actually going to leave, so that's weird. Hey, it's Choco Kid. The leader said that we shouldn't talk to strangers. I'm thinking that in my mind. I don't talk to strangers. Good, you've been listening to the words of Dio, as all of us should. Please. There's nothing I can tell you. I'm sorry. After Idea left, the leader began taking care of everything. He even gave us Kool-Aid to drink so that we could join the space aliens. Does your leader have a name? Do any of you have names? If he doesn't want to talk about it, well, we can't either. You can't even play cards with me. The leader might spank me if I break my promise. He might make me leave, and I can't swim, so I would drown. Wow. This leader sounds like a great guy, threatening children with violence and death. I mean, that's the kid's thoughts. I don't know if the leader actually threatened anything like that. The White Seed leader, I mean, he could be a character, but nobody remembers the White Seed leader because they don't even give him a name. The leader told me not to talk about Alone. I'm so angry that you can read my mind. Oh, there's the chunky White Seed. You heard our leader. There's nothing more to discuss. I'm sorry if we've offended you. I guess it made us a bit testy after you mentioned Alone. Whoa, cool. I've got to talk to a stranger. Or I got to talk to a stranger. I've been mostly inside cleaning. I don't come out much. I breathe in a lot of cleaning fumes. I always get lost. What am I talking about? Oh, this kid's going to be a great warrior someday, I can tell. I'm not sure we're going to get through the whole video without me needing to switch controllers, so... Wow, long time no see, sir. Yeah, I guess you talk like Marvin, I guess? I don't know. Melvin? Whoa, look who's here. Squall, how's it going? Oh, yeah, weird. I was about to say, it's too bad we don't have Renault in our party to see if there's unique dialogue, but you can't have Renault in your party at this point. Can't believe you're here. Everyone's doing good, sir? After you guys left, the Galbadian buttheads came after us, and we barely escaped to this boat. To this boat? The White Sea ship? I was sure we were goners, sir. Someone went nuts and was thinking about swimming across the sea to escape. Hey, it was a plan. All you were doing was whining like a big baby. We were gonna die, we're gonna die, and look who jumped in first. You numbnuts. Oh, you numbnuts. I don't see how these wackos keep surviving. I'm gonna put an end to it right now. So how's Renoa? Where is she? Renoa fought with us against Udea. For some reason, she went unconscious after the fight. She's resting in the garden now. For some reason, she went unconscious after the fight. Possibly because she was murdered by Udea. You're not murdered, is maybe the wrong word. She died while fighting Udea. I don't know what happened. We couldn't protect her. I'm sorry. You son of a bitch! What did I say? What did I say, huh? Oh, that's right. Zone's gonna take Squall out and become the new main character. I told you to take care of her, that nothing better happened to her. Scumbag! You pathetic, lying scumbag! Zone, come on. Easy, sir. Easy. She's not dead. They just don't know what's wrong with her, that's all. I mean, that's pretty cool. Ain't that right, sir? Squall would never give up on her. Am I right, sir? We came here to get a loan because there's a new evil force after her. The new evil force. It's called Tucker Carlson. If we can get a loan and Renoa together, maybe we can get Renoa back. Really? C-Zone? I told you, sir. Renoa's going to be fine. I assume Zone is supposed to be, like, shaking with rage during this, but she promised she would come back. We all have to free Timber together. Don't worry, sir. All right, but I'm going to say it one more time. Something happens to Renoa again, I swear. Yeah. You didn't back up your threats last time, bitch. Care for information, sir? About this ship. Well, after this lady named Udea left, there haven't been any adults on the ship, sir. Sorceress Udea? So far, I've only seen kids and guys our age. Care for more information, sir? About a loan. Is a loan here? Oh, you mean the pretty girl, sir? She left when some other ships came. What other ships? Who were they? There were some soldiers on the ships. I know I've seen them before. Esthar. They were Esthar soldiers, sir. Why Esthar? What do they want with a loan? And what are these assholes doing on this boat by themselves now that they're not guarding a loan anymore? I don't know, sir, but I think she was smiling as she left. What the heck's going on? And you mean there's no other pretty girls anywhere on this ship? Damn it. You have information, sir? About the leader. The leader's usually in the cabin below deck, sir. That's the sum of my information. Why don't you try talking to our leader again? Before, I had to keep watch on my own, but now Zone's helping me, so it's a little easier. Found an old issue of Tim Manny. You finished reading it. It's kind of cool to watch the sea. You hardly ever get bored of it. Your battery is disconnected, sir. Oh, wait. I'm not Watts. Ah, God, I didn't even make it halfway through. I tell you, the charges on these things is pathetic. I need to just buy a long freaking cord and just actually have it plugged into the PS4. But anyway, we get to watch new HD remaster selfies staring at Zell and blinking creepily. But only very occasionally. This is going to take a second because I'm actually... While you guys sit and wait, I'm sorry, but I'm going to actually plug in the old one to recharge, and we should be ready to go here in a second. Alright. I learned how to pilot the ship a little. It's tough. With trains, you just have to worry about staying on the track. Yeah, and you know, we weren't even doing that all that successfully, it seems like. But with ships, oh man, you got to worry about the entire sea. Well, I don't know. It's easy to not go off the tracks, though. Hey, That's the girl next door. How'd you get it? Well, that's right. We've been carrying this porno mag around for the last 2 discs worth of content. Hey, man, listen, I was wondering if you can give it to me. So, the guy who wanted to kill us is willing to put his differences aside if we give him a spank mag. I mean, not that I don't see the value of a good... Well, never mind, but... So the guide I'm reading suggests not giving it to him because you can't get a perfect game, because... this item will never reappear in your inventory, and the rewards you get for it are things that you can't obtain through other methods. But it serves no purpose. You can give it to him for 25,500 gil, but money means nothing to us anymore. And also, it just seems, even though money means very little to us, there's no purchasable items in game. The problem is there's some things you need to purchase in game, but you need to purchase them in quantities of 100, so you can refine that into 10 of a high value item, and then do that 10 times. You end up buying like 100,000 quantities of an item to get like super high-end speed junction scrolls, whatever. But individual items are not supposed to be costing 25,000, and he will give us the money. And I almost feel like doing it just to see the dialogue. But the actual best rewards are if you give it to him for free, or if you're going for a quote perfect game, which involves never running away from an enemy, or never being defeated in battle. Like, it's just this kind of made-up thing fans have come up with, where you have at least one of every item in your inventory, you've never been defeated in combat, whatever. It's kind of meaningless to me, though, so let's just give it to him. Serious? Oh, man, thanks, you're awesome. Here, I want you to have this. It's my old Spank magazine that I'm trading this one for. You received a rename card and the Shiva card. Thanks again for the book. Is it a book? You hardly ever get bored of the sea, and if you do, I've got this new Spank book. So the rename card is an item, which is difficult to come by, but not really particularly important. And I think we might have already had some because we got a blank spot in our inventory, which means somewhere in here we already had a rename card, and this just became like the second one in our inventory rather than the first one that we ever had, probably. Yeah, rename it GF. You don't get to rename your main characters, unfortunately. Renoa can't suddenly become like your real life girlfriend's name. But I guess we didn't have the Shiva card before, so there must be some other way to get it, according to this fact, but whatever. Man, Selphie... I guess in the 8-bit days where you knew that she was a girl who was wearing this really short skirt, and the background let you fill in the details, I could see how guys had like their anime crush on Selphie, but in the remaster, there's just enough detail for you to see that she's really kind of disturbing. How do I get out of here? Okay, I misunderstood which direction the stairs were actually in. Care for more information, sir? No, I'm just wondering who these people are who suddenly showed up. It's the rest of the rebellion? Achoo, what, it's getting dark already? It's getting too cold to sit out here these days. I love sunshine, it feels good. Watts told me sunshine is good for you. It's the most vapid thing ever. My sister doesn't catch colds anymore since we sit in the sun, but now I think I'm getting the sniffles. It's probably because I always sit on this side in the shade. I don't know why I keep doing that. But I'm powerless to stop it. This is a unique location, by the way. We will not be able to come back here, but it's not particularly important. Holy diver, you've been out too long and you've been noisy. I just screwed up our magic now, didn't I? Why do you have more than Selphie? You've got Holy. What is it that Zell has that the other two don't have? Is he the one that we stored our Ultima on at the moment? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Alright. Everybody's got room for at least one more new spell. I told you to leave. I told you to leave. You have no proof that today has sent you. How do you expect us to believe you? Leave our ship immediately. Oh, never mind. I guess I don't have the sorcerer's letter item because that's probably when I'm supposed to give it to him. So the plot won't continue until well, this is just busy work now. But the plot won't continue until we go talk to Sorcerer Sadea one more time to get a letter of introduction to the White Seed punks. I don't know why we can't just bring her with us, actually. Yeah, it was weird. Part of me was like, I thought I had done all the plot stuff necessary. But when I read them mentioning a sorceress's letter in this walkthrough that I pulled open just to make sure I knew what was supposed to happen next, I didn't remember that. So I was... it's what happens when you play the game and then you go like a couple hours and you go a couple of weeks without playing it and then you play it again for a couple of hours. You get pretty spotty on your memory of stuff. We're just going to continue hanging out here forever. We'll slowly starve to death. Is there anything at all I can help you with? The White Seed ship, the one Alone's on. Those children, those children, they are very cautious. They would never remain in one place for long. I see. Oh yes, however, those children seem to have taken a liking to Centra's landscape. Therefore, they may have stationed their ship by an inlet somewhere on the Central continent. And Squall, please take with you this letter that I wrote. With this, they shall welcome you. The White Seed ship. We first came up with it to protect Alone from Estar. They served as the captain on the ship, but before long, many children were brought on board, and it became somewhat of an orphanage. They had taught the children well, and they would prefer to do with seeds. Great. It's just starting to run out of voices, so I'm glad you stopped talking. Yeah, apparently Robin Williams did like a jive talking voice back in the 70s that has not aged well, but I don't remember it, so that's just as well. I don't know. I guess I was reading about Robin Williams at some point recently that I even became aware of that. You know what it was? It's this LP. I think while thinking about voices to do for this LP, I googled like Robin Williams voices and confirmed my suspicion that mostly he just kept doing Southern Preacher and hilarious gay man, but also became aware of his really, really kind of suspect jive soul bro voice that he would do. Jive Soul Bro. A Jive Soul Bro. Well, let's not go into the Jive Soul Bro song. You might have fond memories of him from your childhood, but the Slickster character, not something that WWE talks about that much these days. Well, I mean, if this whole video consists of nothing but us advancing the plot by talking to the White Seed ship kids again, it's not nothing. Should have made a better note of where these damn guys were, though. Alright, I'll pull the map back out. Now we're just going to waste time trying to find them again. Yeah, they're... Well, no, because we are kind of in the right place. Okay. The map in this fact, I mean, this fact's actually, and it's really good. It's got a lot of information. But occasionally it can be a little confusing. And like that map, yeah, kind of the way they took a screenshot, but there's a little finger pointing to Idea's house on the screenshot. But it's a screenshot that just happened to have Idea's house, and that's where the cursor was pointing at, but not to indicate that's where the ship was. So it's kind of like, you can tell where the ship is, but having this little finger pointing at something specifically on a map of how to find the seed ship kind of makes you think it's pointing to the seed ship. You know? Alright, here's a fucking letter, you goof. Now, please advance the story. Here. This is Matron's writing. She really gave this to you? You guys call her Matron too, huh? Yes, ever since we were little. We were all raised at the same orphanage with you. Don't you remember us? You were raised by Idea too. Yes, at the same orphanage as you. What the fuck's wrong with you? I think the White Seed ship kids are supposed to be a little younger, maybe, than Squall. It was difficult to fight against her, but we did. Fortunately, everything turned out well. Idea is no longer evil. She's back to her old self again, the kind of matron we remember. I was about to make a stupid political comment, but I won't. She's joined the Green Party. She's a total hippie now. Squall, thank you. We owe you and Balam Garden much. For example, allowing us to be a part of this game, which we really have very little to do with. Even our salute is the same. Except you guys do two fingers, and you sometimes will brush your fingers along the bottom of your chin, whereas we just do one finger. Matron told us it hasn't changed since Seed was established. During our lifetimes by her, and we are the first members of it. I mean, what... What do you mean it hasn't changed since Seed was established? I mean, you guys are the first generation of Seed soldiers, aren't you? For all intents and purposes? I thought Sid founded Seed. There's a lot about this game that doesn't make sense. Like, how you get these fucking gardens... Like, why does Seed control these gardens, which are all... We don't know about Trabia for sure. But it appears that all of them were basically ancient Machina powerful airships. Alright, so you want to tell us something useful? So it says in the letter you're looking for a loan. I'm sorry, a loan's no longer here. Well, I already knew that, but I'm going to act like I didn't, so that we can have a dramatic discussion. Remember we picked her up from your garden near the Pho coast? She's always got this little shawl wrapped around her elbows. After that, we headed east to get away as far away as we could from Aidea and Galbadia. I'm becoming more southern and slightly less effeminate, but now I'm returning to being effeminate, but retaining my southernness. I was trying to do this other character voice I've got in the can from, like... But it keeps switching to Robin Williams' character. I guess this guy was educated by Sid, so he must talk like... Before long, we encountered the Galbadian fleet. They had a lot of ships. Obviously, they were searching for us. We should have been more careful. They pursued us in full force. Our one job was to not be spotted, and we kind of screwed it up. Luckily, we were able to escape, but then our ship broke down and we were stranded. We're kind of terrible at our job. There was no way we were going to let the Galbadians take a loan, so we killed her. Eventually, obviously not the optimal solution, a little on the dark side, but yeah, I mean, that's one way to prevent... If I believe the overarching threat is a sorceress from the future called Ultimecia wants to use the magic of time compression, which we don't really know what that is, except that she needs a loan to do it. So... Although they never actually explain who Ultimecia really is, that I recall. Or how Alone came across the power she has. You would think that somebody, maybe Irvine, who likes gunplay and seems to treat women as meat, somebody, it would occur to them as, well, not the optimum Paragon solution, but it seems like for the good of the world, we could just take Alone out back, tell her about the rabbits, and solve this whole problem. Eventually, the Galbadians caught up to us, but we had no choice but to prepare for battle. Chubby White Seed was present for this scene. Then an Esthar ship appeared. It looked a lot like Watts. A battle began between them, and we were caught in the middle of it. Then something strange happened. I was suddenly assertive and dominant. And I received a name. Suddenly an SR ship came up beside us, and SR soldiers came aboard. We didn't fight because, despite our constant claims that we're really good at fighting, we never fight anybody in the entire story. They told us to get aboard their ship. It sounded like an order to evacuate. Of course, we refused. We didn't trust them just as we didn't trust the Galbadians. As the SR soldiers were trying to convince us, the battle became more intense. Although, obviously, we weren't battling at all. Soon they were forced to leave our ship. Chubby White Seed agreed with me. We both shook our heads no. Then Alone ran off. As their ship was pulling away, Alone yelled out something and seemed to fall overboard. Then, all of a sudden, she jumped onto their ship. I was wondering why they wouldn't take the White Seeds with them. It wasn't like her at all. Normally, she would never jump on ships. Chubby White Seed and I were deeply concerned. We shook our heads no and didn't do anything. To this day, I don't understand why she did that. After all, SR's fleet withdrew from the battle and fled. After they left, well, it's a long story. After our ship is fully repaired, we plan to go to Estar. Sorry, Squall, we couldn't protect her. Well, that's okay, I couldn't protect Renoa. So Alone's an Estar? You lying son of a bitch! You said you would protect her. I know I just failed Renoa, but whatever. We believe so. Well, anyway, let's teleport back here for convenience. Oh, God, I maybe need to decide on a nap. I actually slept in late this morning. Yeah, so there you go. We gave Alone away so that she wouldn't be... Basically, the White Seeds exist to prevent you from talking to Alone and finding out what's going on during a stretch of game where there'd be no good reason Squall wouldn't go up to Alone and ask her what's going on. Because she's hanging around in Balam Garden for most of Act 1, but we don't know that there's anything about her that we should really be concerned with or care about. She pokes her head in, like very early in the game she appears because she checks in on Squall when he's at the infirmary, and we never hear about her again until Act 2, where we suddenly find out that she's important somehow. Conveniently, this is also after Squall has had the chance to jump back into Laguna's memories and find out that she's part of Laguna's past. And then she goes on the White Seed ship, where she's just kind of out of our hair for a while, so we can't ask her, who are you? Who and where is Laguna? That stuff. Well, the White Seed have basically been... Like, the game wanted her to get to... They want us to go to Estar, so they needed to get Alone to Estar so we could chase her there. And as far as I recall, the White Seed never appear again in the game. They're just this weird little thing that is never really whatever. Their narrative function was to take Alone out of the story for a while, or to have Alone be absent during a stretch of story where the bad guys are looking for Alone. That's their purpose in-game universe, and it's also their purpose as a narrative device. It's just to take Alone off the table for a little while. And now it's time for us to go to Estar and find Alone. But what are we going to find in Estar? What do we know about Estar? We know that, well, you know what? I know that it's time for the video to end. So maybe I'll open the next video with a short monologue wondering what we can expect to find as we head to Estar. Because while Nida is asking us if we have a destination, and I don't know exactly what the dialogue is going to reveal, but I think we know whether there's a way for them to get there or not. We know where Squall is going to want to go. He's going to want to go to Estar. Maybe we'll get there in the next few videos. See ya.